On this episode, we talk about whether I make phone calls, something called the 6-month hump, and an Olympian who has won my heart. Hey everybody, and welcome to Finish Friday, the show that helps more creative people change more lives. I am your host, Todd B from Tennessee, and I created this show because on a scale of 1 to helping your 5-year-old nephew pick out a toy at Cracker Barrel, creating things is hard, and finishing those projects is often even harder. Yeah, first things first, shout out to my nephew Jack, who turns 5 today as I'm filming this. You're pretty much a grown man now. Jack, if you're watching this, which you're not, I love you so much, and I'm happy to have you in my life. For the rest of you, an update, book launch is still on pace. I'm looking to get something out first week of August. Streamlining this thing for sure. Thank you to those of you who have asked. Everything is moving on pace, and of course, I'll keep you informed. That's the biggest update from my life. Let's get into today's topic. Here's something interesting I noticed about the school system. Every 6 months, we reset. Like, we have different classes, we have different people, we have different subjects, we have different grades. Doesn't matter if you failed last semester, you get new reset this semester. And while I think that might make sense as a way to teach a subject in school, I worry sometimes that it impacts our ability to extend projects long term. What am I talking about? Well, last year I started a Snapchat business, and some of you know that was a terrible business for me to be in, right? Like, it became a total nightmare and not much fun at all. But what I noticed specifically there, and the biggest lesson I took from that, is that in the first 6 months when I was trying to start the business, I had so much trouble generating customers. Like, I was doing a ton of work for free. I was sinking a lot of my own money into the project with website designers and administrators and things like that, just trying to get something off the ground. But then after that 6-month inflection point, I started to get momentum. Like, it was the weirdest thing. And you guys can believe me or not, like, who am I to tell you? But after 6 months, the word of mouth started to spread. The referrals started coming in. Like, it started getting easier for me to do what I was trying to do. And I talk about momentum on this show in kind of vague theory terms, but I want to point out today that the 6-month hump is a very real thing. I want to encourage you now. If you've been on something, it's June, right? So if you've been on something for all of this year, even if you've been faithful every day, every week since January, I need you to press through this 6-month hump, because I promise you, things start to build after that hump. I am still, to this day, almost a year later, getting requests to do Snapchat filters. I'm having to turn stuff away, all because I was able to kind of find the discipline to keep going after that 6-month hump. So if you guys are feeling the pain and feeling the pressure now that half of this year is over, I encourage you, keep going. Keep pressing forward, and then you can ride downhill after the 6-month hump. This week's question of the week comes in from Nia, and on my phone or iPad, she's just Nia, last name from the internet. Because you guys know last week I put out my phone number, and I've been having a lot of great conversations. Nia is one that's come out of that. You guys can ask a question for the show anytime, down below in the comments, or email todd@toddbryson.com. I'll get you on the show and give you a shout out. Nia asks, you mentioned taking advantage of asynchronous communication. Do you also not make any phone calls in addition to not answering them? Yeah, this is so for context for the rest of you guys, I wrote a post a while back that is still pretty hugely popular for the stuff I've done, called How to Ignore Absolutely Everything. And in that post, I revealed that I answered my telephone for like 4 people total. Kate's always get answered, and then the other 3 are really questionable. But guys, like, for me, and as an artist in this distracted world, you have to kind of set up some parameters around what you're able to accept. what you're able to pay attention to. And so for me, one of my biggest talents is that I'm able to ignore and shut out all that noise. And so the asynchronous communication she mentioned is that I'm fine dealing with text, emails, messages, all that's great. But the idea that someone can come in and intrude on my creative time just because they have my phone number is very foreign to me. And I know that that's going to sound crazy to a lot of you guys, but if your art is important enough to you, you are going to have to set up boundaries around it. That's how this happens. Like, that's how successful artists become successful, is they became at some point unreachable. And so, Nia, to answer your question specifically, no, I don't make many phone calls either. I rely mostly on the technology we have for everyone around me to get back to me in their own time. And so while that may not always be the most efficient method of communication, for me, a phone call is almost always the last choice. It is out of pure love for my friend Declan that I'm using this mug right here. Pittsburgh. Friends over hockey. This week's artist spotlight goes on my friend Joe Jacoby. Joe is an Olympic gold medal winner who I had the chance to sit down with a few weeks ago and meet his daughter, and it's just such an incredible family. Joe isn't on here because he's a gold medalist. I honestly think he's developing himself as just an incredible writer, and I love what he's coming out with recently. You guys have requested that I bring more stuff to the show from other people, so let me read you this passage from Joe's How to Live Beyond Your Life. The quality of Rich's action, day by day, year by year, is what sticks with me today. He was a true scholar who had calm intentionality. I knew he would be a wonderful father. I tend to see being a dad as an action verb who guides. Can the verb outlive the noun? Yes, when you build a life full of good actions. Live beyond your life. A father is not a noun, a father is a verb. And I don't want to spoil the rest of this post for you guys because I really, really think you should go read it. I will link it down below. Of course, go and give Joe some love. Tell him I sent you. And that's a wrap for episode 25. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching this show. I really appreciate you showing up week after week. Don't forget to give that thumbs up after you answer this week's Ask the Audience. Here's my question. Do you guys who watch the videos also read my posts? You guys know I got the launch coming up. I'm trying to figure out where everybody is. So comment down below, do you watch the videos and never read my posts? Or do you watch the videos and also read the posts? That will help me get a beat on where everybody's at for this book launch coming up in a month or so. Stay ready. Much love as always. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'm Todd B from Tennessee, and I'll see you next week.